Yes, here we go, people. What's happening? Big up to every single one of you. We have got This Is London. My brothers are back. Well, D's not back. D's away, and Don is late as ever. Thought we'd start with the three of us. Let's get some banter going. We're going to be starting with some transfer talk. We've got a bit of a special today talking about West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs. And early signs, of course, of a transfer window. How excited are we? Are we happy? What do we expect to be happening? And what do we think of each other's club's business? I think that's the main thing today. We're going to be throwing some banner questions in today. Got a few set questions that I'm going to be sending to the boys. Don will be on his way, but let me just ask the chat a really simple question, right? Big up to Rants, by the way, for the raid. Absolute ledge. Much appreciated to Rants for that one. Legend. Make sure you're following Rants. When you wash your car, how long does it take you? Because as far as I'm concerned, it takes about 20 minutes. But with Don, he decides, even though he's got a show at 6, at 5:30 to go and wash his car. I mean, what is happening here? Seriously. It is madness. Man's got no planning, no awareness. It's just mad, you know. Absolutely.
Everyone in the chat, when Don hops on, I want you to all put in the chat Don Skeeto. It's his new nickname, like Mosquito, but Don Skeeto. Everyone said he's like a little mosquito that is just annoying.
For me, it's a classic case of somebody that's been smoking the budgie banting on an empty stomach. You know what I mean? Like, when you've been smoking the budgie banting and you've not eaten all day, that's what happens. You do foolishness like that. It's very foolish on a Friday night to wash your vehicle half an hour before a show. He's been on the banting.
It's inexcusable, man.
We'll see it in his eyes when he gets on the show. He'll be slurring. Do you know what I mean? He'll be tripping over himself. And one of his eyes will be bloodshot probably. So, you know, we know what he's been on. And it's typical Don. Dusty as his club. So, you know, I'm not surprised.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But, you know, Don is Don. Don will always be late. And at least it's us three. At least we got a show. And do you know what? It's been too long, boys. You know, we stopped the weekly shows because the season stops. But I said we do some collab throughout the summer. And I've missed it, man. I can't lie. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens within the coming window. And if I'm honest with you, I wanted to start with West Ham, actually, because I'm kind of bored of the Arsenal chat. We will get to that, trust me. But I wanted to start with West Ham, and I wanted to ask Deji a question because, you know, I feel like Lawless sometimes he's fed up of West Ham, and I think he's kind of had enough of it. But I want to ask this question, Deji, on the screen. West Ham in a relegation fight this coming season? Question mark. What are we saying?
The answer is no, but let me explain. West Ham is not a relegation fight. West Ham will be relegated. You know what I'm saying? They have to be one of the dustiest teams I've ever seen in my life. The only thing I'm grateful for West Ham for is the fact that I've got to meet Lawless, and you know, behind the screens, he's actually a really decent guy. He's actually a good mate, but he's someone that was on the budgie banting for about 10 years. Hence the reason why he supports that club. So West Ham is crap. They're rubbish, bro. Like, it's dusty. Graham Potter's dusty. Lawless knows they've made a mistake, and they're not going to bring in any credible players to stay in the Prem. They can't. Do you know what I mean? So for me, the sooner. And one thing we know about the Premier League table is it doesn't lie. And if we're being honest, West Ham was always on par with the likes of Norwich, you know what I mean, Burnley, Huddersfield. That's their level. That's who they were swimming with. So for me, I think it makes sense. And actually, if Lawless is genuine, he's probably looking forward to being relegated. And you're probably asking me why. Every time West Ham get relegated, they reset and they come back stronger. West Ham can't kick on from where they are because they're in quicksand. Every time they move, they get lower and lower and lower and lower again. So if I was West Ham, I would get relegated, sack Graham Potter, recalibrate, come back stronger. Do you get what I'm saying? And in that case, we will see a better West Ham. But if they think...
Why didn't you do that then? Why don't Spurs do that?
We did.
What? You got relegated and came back stronger?
No. Well, bro, first and foremost, like, please. Like, I know this is YouTube and you like to do things for banter, but we're not doing things for banter. We're catching up. Don't ever put my club and your club on the same bracket ever again.
Sorry, what was the table saying? Where did you finish?
No,
where did you finish and where did we finish?
Listen. You know what?
Who was closer to the relegation zone?
You know what? I was gonna save this for the Tottenham segment. I need to run a rhythm real quick so you know, because you ain't seen me. Can I run the rhythm, Dan?
Go on.
Ready?
Go on.
Oh, here we go.
I am a winner. Yes, I'm a Tottenham fan. Please forgive me. Please forgive me, because I won a trophy, fam. Sometimes you gotta be alone. Please don't kill my vibe. Please don't kill my vibe. Look at all the Arsenal Tottenham supporters looking like they cry. Look at all the Arsenal fans looking like they wanna cry. I'm a winner. Yes, I'm a Tottenham fan. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Yeah, that's right. Please bloody forgive me. Have some respect for my club. The only trophy winner that's here is me. I'm not trying to chat like we're on the same level. We're not in the same bracket, blood. Champions League winner, trophy winner. Please forgive me. Do not kill my vibe. Yeah? I win a trophy. I sacked the brother that was in charge. Yeah?
The trophy that you said was dusty.
And come back and recalibrate. That's the difference between us, Pedro.
The trophy that you said was dusty. You called it a dusty trophy. We're not hearing it. You said it was dusty. Relax. Bro, no, you should not be singing about the trophy.
It was dusty, and that's why he left. That's why he's
okay, so don't flex it then. I don't want to ever hear you flex that trophy.
You need to recalibrate. Don't tell me why didn't you get relegated then. No, we got rid of the problem. Now we build on. You get me?
Yeah, okay, we got rid of the problem. Lopetegui. We sacked Lopetegui. Okay.
Yeah,
what's the difference?
Graham Potter and it's more the same.
Nah, listen. You're not seeing the wider issues. Graham Potter is not the problem at West Ham United Football Club.
I can't believe we're skipping over the fact that he sounded like Lemar from Wish. I can't believe we've not even spoken about this. Britain's Got Talent. Yeah. Get on it, Dej. Get on it, bruv.
Bruv, it's a tune that I'm going to be singing all season. I am a winner. Yes, I'm a Tottenham fan. Please forgive me. Please forgive me because I won a trophy, fam. Yeah? Sometimes you got to be alone. On this panel,
if you said Dusty Trophy, fam, like, would Dusty fit in there?
On this panel, I feel isolated, bro. You know what I mean?
And don't ever, Deji, talk about my conference league. Don't ever shit on, because you know what you won was the Europa League version of the conference league. That's what you won. So there's no difference between the Europa League you won and the conference league that I won. So don't ever shit on it.
The league that you won, what did it get you?
Okay, yeah, it got us Europa League and this gets you Champions League.
Can I ask you a question legitly? Because you guys were berating me the whole season. I had to sit there, I had to take it. And so I just want to qualify a couple of things. Does winning a trophy bring a winning mentality, Lawless?
Yes.
Well,
I need
not
to know.
Always.
Because West Ham, they won a trophy, and we are asking the question of whether they're in a relegation fight. And I say no, they're not going to be fighting. They're going down. It's not a fight.
But that's not a winning mentality, is it? So
that's his point. That's his point.
Okay, but what I'm saying is you're saying we should get relegated to get better. What I'm saying, you're saying don't put us in the same breath. You finished closer to the relegation zone last season than we did. We finished three places above you. So you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you're closer to the relegation zone next season. So as it stands, and you can lord up Thomas Frank all you want. No Spurs fan wanted Thomas Frank, and now all of a sudden he's in. He's the answer. He's the solution.
I didn't say it was the answer, bro. I didn't say it was the answer.
Oh well, there you go, isn't it? So
you're talking about your club at the moment and whether you can go down. And the sad thing is, Lawless, like it feels almost as sad as the race for Europe. Like I'm gonna miss Dan. United fan, Dan United first. I'm gonna miss him. He's such a lovely bloke, and do you know what I mean? What a shame that he won't be able to, do whatever unless Dan has a news show where you talk about the ones that don't exist, that kind of thing. But with you, the point I'm trying to make, mate, is you're dead out here. Like genuinely, let's banter aside. Do you think you will stay up?
Well, obviously not if we don't sign anyone, and this is the thing. So we're in the same boat. Like, we need signings. If we go into the season like this, yes, we are. Because where's your signings? Have I missed it? Who did they sign?
Tell.
Oh, who was part of the 22 defeats last season, right? That same Tell, right? So
hardly 22. He came in Jan.
Oh, well, okay. But did he come? Did you go on to start? Did it change? Did your form? Did we start winning games? No.
Oh,
it was the same. So basically, what I'm saying is,
you're losing Kudus. Paqueta, he's probably gone, isn't he? You got nobody coming in that I hear of anyway that's going to be of any level of quality.
Players that were shit last season, though, Potts. Like, if you told me we're losing Bowen, Wan-Bissaka, flipping, who else can I even put out there that deserves to have their name up? Those two, right? Apart from Paqueta and Kudus, if you told me I was losing Bowen and Wan-Bissaka, then I would be like, damn. But as it stands, it's not going to be a big loss at the moment, like based off last season. So we're not going to massively regress and get worse because they didn't really contribute last season. So if we can get that money and invest it into, talent around.
Who would you like to see it invested in, though?
It's not so much who, it's what. I want pace. Give me a quicker, younger football team, because our team has got to be the slowest in the league.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about our midfield. Our midfield is a shambles. It's painful to watch. We have the worst midfield in the league. Although Dom will say that Arsenal's was statistically worse in some areas, which I need to see what them stats are. I need him to refresh my memory because, we was shocking. We was painful. So, yeah, man, like we need some physicality, some athleticism, some pace in this team. That's what I want. So names, it's hard because right now it's going to be so difficult to attract names. We're linked with Harvey Elliott. That's going to be a hard deal to get done. It's going to cost money, and I'm hearing we're not going.
Will he come to you?
I don't. Well, he's leaving Liverpool. I'm confident he's going to be leaving Liverpool. We'd be competing with Brighton and Fulham, and I can't remember what the German team.
Do you think you can attract him over Brighton and Fulham?
The only thing that we have going for us at the moment, obviously, is the London thing, right? And he came through QPR and Fulham.
Yeah, but he was already at Fulham, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So Fulham, we could potentially attract him over Fulham because Fulham, in the grand scheme of things, who are Fulham? No offense, Fulham, but let's be real. But Brighton, it's going to be would be tricky, that's for sure. But we've got to slap down the money, and this is what we won't get him because we're waiting to sell one of Kudus or Paqueta. So if we have to wait to sell them, well, then we ain't going to get him.
I'll take Kudus at Spurs, though. I think he's a baller.
I'll just listen, you're living in dreamland, Spurs fans. Like,
how much are you selling Kudus for? I heard it's something stupid like 40, 50 mil.
No, it said 60 million upwards. Yeah. So upwards. So
how much did you buy him for?
It was like 40. I think it was about 40 million, 45 mil. So we ain't selling him. For
Spurs could buy him at 60 mil. I don't know if it's worth 60 mil. I don't think
we're not selling to Spurs. We ain't doing business with Spurs.
You have before, though. You two used to love each other's players.
Remember we took Jermaine Defoe from you, mate.
Jermaine Defoe, Canute. What was his name? Canute. Michael Carrick.
Yes, but Sullivan and Levy won't do business. They won't. They don't like each other. And it's a different era in football. There's no way. They know, like, if we sold, like, one of our players to Spurs, right, unless it was Mavropanos, the fans would be in uproar. Like, Linda, even though Kudus was shit, like, we still see him as a player, an asset where you can either get money for or potentially in a better team. If we improved, he would improve. So Yeah, like Scott Parker was the last one, but that's because we got relegated. But that's what I'm saying. This was all like, you know, Sullivan and Levy. You just won't catch them doing business.
So
I think
60,
Spurs
60
fans
million.
need to get that out of their mind.
60 million for Kudus. What's Paqueta?
Paqueta's probably, once he gets this stuff out of his mind, out of the way, probably like 50. Once his court thing dies down. Paqueta, man, there is a real talent there.
Because I don't know, man. He's so hot and cold. I wouldn't want him.
Yeah, his consistency is shocking. Now, I'd be interested to see how he's in a Man City team. But he's just never goes on a run of games where you're like, oh, yes, Paqueta, like, he's the man. He's carrying his team. Like, year on year, smash the likes. Where are you, Don? Like, you give us an update.
He can't make it. He's texted me already. I know.
He's stuck in the car.
Don Skeeto, innit? What do you call him? Don Skeeto. Is that his new name?
He's found a light bulb. He's on his way back and he saw a little light bulb and he drifted towards the light bulb. I've texted the link to Carefree Lewis, but I don't know if he's about. So I don't know if he's got it. But there we go. But anyway. Yeah, like so what I'm saying is, yeah, look, they can go. Bowen is the main man for me that we need to keep and we will keep. Anything else, it's going to be gems. We're going to have to find gems. Our owners are at absolute shambles. So I have to hope that McCauley and Potter can do what they did before. You know, Friday traffic has got me. Who'd imagine that, Don? Who would have thought that going out at rush hour to wash your car on a Friday might get you stuck in traffic?
Yeah, man's got no planning, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll go wash my car at 5:30. I've got a show at 6. It'll be fine. I'm stuck in traffic. Bless him. I do love Don, but nobody else would do that but Don. Bless him. But there we go.
Yeah,
Big up to him, man. He'll be on next time.
Go into the new season with this.
Yeah, Don is a madman. So you actually think they're going down, Dej?
Yeah, bro, look, when I said to Lawless just a minute ago, I think they're going down, he agreed and said, if we don't make signings. And the thing is, unfortunately, given how poor their season was last year, given the whole structure, you got to think West Ham performed like that with some good players in their team. They lose the likes of Kudus and Paqueta. They're not replacing for light. They're going to bring in worse players. So for me,
I just told you, Deji, they didn't.
No, but what I'm trying to, I hear you, but I said, and I think we even had an argument that your front three was even better than Arsenal's at one stage. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Your front three was better than Spurs, but you achieved nothing and you struggle. You lose that front three, you're dead, bro.
It's not going to be hard to improve on them. What I'm saying is, what they contributed last season, right? It won't be hard to improve on Kudus's output last season. It won't be hard to improve on Paqueta's contributions.
Was you happy with Somerville? Because you were shaking your bum at the beginning of the season. Was he good in the end?
Well, he was injured for a lot of the season. So, when he played, he was quality. He was
Todibo. He was crap. He was awful.
No, he's not. He's not crap. He's just, for some reason, near the end of the season, he just wasn't fit. Like he looked like he was blowing out of his ass. Like 25 minutes, 30 minutes into the game. Like, he is a talent. Todibo is a talent, but I don't know what is up with his fitness. His fitness is all over the place. But yeah, Somerville, if he stayed fit all season, mate, we'd be.
I like Somerville, but I'm just where I'm at, bruv, is who are you attracting? That's where I'm at. What level of player are you getting? Let's say you get rid of Kudus and Paqueta. I don't see how you get anyone on that level, let alone an upgrade, if I'm honest. I think them two are, for West Ham, like top quality. I don't see how.
You know why you don't see Potts? Because you're short-sighted. You need to go pet Specsavers.
What am I missing then? What am I not seeing?
What you're missing is, yes, we're not going to attract like names that are on that level, but you go out and you do your scouting properly, right? So we need to find the right profile.
When have West Ham ever done that?
Lanzini, Payet, just off the top of my head.
How long ago was that?
That
was about 15 years ago.
Bowen wasn't. It was in the championship. Bowen.
Lanzini.
Right. Huh?
Bowen's a good player. Doesn't matter if
Bowen's class, bro. Bowen should leave West Ham ages ago.
You're telling me we can't attract players from the championship?
Bowen is good enough to play for Arsenal.
Facts.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he played for Hull in the championship. So wait, are you sitting there and saying we cannot attract good players from the Championship like we have with Bowen.
No, but if you do that, how is that an upgrade or equivalent to Kudus and Paqueta?
Because they've been shit. They've been shit. They've been shocking.
Why have they been shit?
Nothing.
Because West Ham have been shit. That's why. That's the point.
No, it's not. It's not. You can't just say, "Oh, West Ham have been shit because they've been shit because of the team." Is no, they have not been good enough. Because if that's the case, why hasn't Bowen been shit? Why hasn't Wan-Bissaka been shit?
Can I just say,
Bowen's your best player.
Every time I see Lawless, you bring out the Shakespearean in me, and I think what you're doing with your club today, it's a valiant effort for you trying to defend West Ham, and I get it. I was there once. There's something called denial. Look, bro, you're not going to get any player from the Championship that's up to those two players' level. You're smoking budgie banter. They're in the Championship. They're in the Championship for a reason. Yeah, they might have been off, but bro, you're not bringing anyone. So and that is the concern. Look, David Moyes had the right idea. He said, these guys are too tall and too dusty. I don't want security guards, just 11 security guards on the pitch. I actually just want to bring some flair. He brought in the Paquetas, the Kudus, the Bowens. He was actually trying to play ball, but because your culture, your structure is so rigid, the ball players couldn't play. That was the problem, and then you got rid of him. Now what you're saying is you want to get rid of the fair players. You want to get rid of the creative players in your squad to bring in lesser players. You struggled with those good players who, dare I say, could get into some top 6 sides, and you want to bring in lesser man, and you think you can survive in the Prem with lesser players. You're mad.
They're not. Listen, Paqueta, Kudus, they're not quick players. They haven't got it. Not for their pace, which we need in the team. There are a lot of instead of going from A to Z, going from A to B or whatever, they're going around the houses. So they're not direct enough. And at the end of the day, everything has to go their way for it to work. And I see that. And thing is with Kudus, he's a sort of player that he'll show up when the big lights are on. You sign Kudus and you're going to Stoke on a cold Tuesday night, he ain't going to want to know. And that's the last thing you need in the team. And that's why I've seen Kudus this season when he played good. Arsenal away, Liverpool away, Man United away. When the bright lights was on, he wanted to know. But when it comes to the smaller games, and that's a bad mentality. You need a quality player. Alexis Sanchez would slay teams no matter who they were.
Do you know what? I agree. And what you just described is what I thought it was, but I didn't quite articulate it as best as well as you did. It's about the environment. What you're offering these big players is Stoke on a cold Wednesday, Tuesday night, where I'm offering the likes of Barcelona on a Wednesday, Real Madrid, PSG, that sort of thing, where Kudus can, flex his muscles, flex his car.
You still have to play against Burnley. You still have to play against Burnley.
I don't care. He can miss that game when we start Brennan Johnson. I don't give a damn.
I mean, because there's more of them smaller games. There's more of them smaller games than bigger games in the Prem. The so-called Big Six, right? You've only got 5 of them to play. The rest, and he ain't showing up for the rest of the games, boy, then you're in trouble, isn't it? You're paying a whole lot of money and a whole lot of wages for a guy that's going to turn up for 10 games a season.
All right, Lawless, let me ask you this then. Me and Deji think you're in trouble this season. You agree that if you don't put anything on the table in terms of transfers, you could be. What's your expectation if you have a decent window then?
I haven't got much expectation. My expectations have been crushed and destroyed after last season. A season, I don't think a season has broke me like that season has broke me ever before.
I did warn you. I warned you at the beginning.
Oh,
I tried to help.
22 defeats, pipe down, right? Let's just have it right, yeah. I'm coming into it after that season. I'm numb. I'm numb. So I go into next season, expectations, away from the relegation battle, get back in the top 10. Would I want to compete for Europe? Of course, but Graham Potter's being thrown under the bus big time with this sell to buy bullshit that we're hearing. He's being he needs his team. He needs his team, and he's not going to get what he needs. But he's going to fall short in certain areas, and we're just going to end up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we'll go down, but we're not going to have any type of season that I can enjoy. Like I said, I want to be competing for like that at least 7th. You know, trying to look to get back in those positions, but like this ownership have showed they're not ambitious. Like I'm hearing that we could spend if they would invest and stick their hand in their pocket, right? Then we could circumvent all this PSR, whatever bullshit, because they haven't invested. And they refuse to put their hands in their pockets, and they just watching us, you know, like literally.
I'll tell you what I think you should do. West Ham are going to lose more than 7 games this season, right?
Oh, come on, bro. Double figures, mate.
Exactly, right? So let me just hear me out.
We won't lose 22, though. Like, we're not that shit. We wouldn't lose 22. That's crazy.
So hear me out. Those 7 losses, well, you're going to lose more than that, but let's just concentrate on those 7 that you are going to lose. I would go either side of the Carabao Cup games in the Premier League games and just put out kids in the Premier League and go all out for those 7 Carabao.
This is your same thing every year, Potts.
And go and win a trophy. Go and win a trophy. Finish 15th or 16th again. But you got a Carabao Cup. You're back in your Conference League that you've won already. And it's a brilliant season. That's what you need to do.
You say this every year. You tell us to do that every year. That's your
Why don't you listen? Would you know
what would happen, Potts? If we listen to you, we'd be relegated and we'd never win a trophy. That's what would happen.
Bollocks, bro.
Because
by March is done.
Just play the kids in the league. Are you mad? Just play the kids.
Okay, we use your squad players then. Rest them.
And I agree with Lawless here. I agree with Lawless, and I know
he wants us to be wicked.
You were trying to be genuine and you were trying to help out a mate. My mum used to always tell me, why are you getting upset for? Those players are still getting their wages. And for me, it feels like Lawless has thought about this. So knowing Lawless the way that I've known him, have you done any forward planning in terms of that new YouTube channel? Because, bro, we already know what's coming, bro. Like, we know it's a mess. We know you're going to be pissed off week after week. But what's your backup plan once you go down?
Listen, don't worry about us going down, right? Because, like I said, you want to put yourself away from us, whatever. Right now, as the transfer window stands, Deji, me and you are in the same boat. You finished 17th, we finished 14th, right?
No.
So we're in the same boat. So let's not.
We're not in the same boat. We're not in the same boat.
We are. In fact, it's worse for you. Do you know why it's worse for you? Do you know why it's worse? Let me just tell you why you're in more danger of going down, right? Because check this. We haven't got you. We can just focus on the league. We ain't got Europe. You've got Champions League. You're going to have to play your strongest team, this weak-ass bitch team that could not stay fit throughout the season, injuries galore. You're going to have to play them in the Champions League and the Premier League. You're going to have to fight on all these fronts, right? We can just focus on the league. So you're in more danger. Don't think just because you got Champions League that suddenly makes you a better team. It don't do shit. So right now, you're in more danger than us. But what's your backup plan, Deji? What's your backup plan? Tell me.
Respectfully, we're not on the same level, bro, because I'm playing Champions League football.
I just explained why that was a hindrance.
I hear you. Look. On the 1st of July, that's when Tottenham are going to bring in some of the ballers. We expect to get Eze over the line. We expect to get Semenyo over the line. And all of a sudden, Tottenham's front three that's looking dusty and Tutankhamun's coffin is looking not so dusty. Just like if United, a.k.a. Piccadilly, they get Mbeumo over the line and then maybe Mateta, United would be a different kettle of fish going forward this season because I reckon those 3 players that they've been linked with could do something. So we're not on the same gravy train, my good friend. I guess the concern for Spurs is having won a trophy, could we win a trophy again next season under Thomas Frank? Highly unlikely. You know what I mean? No, but I felt something that you guys had told me, and I didn't know, because when you were telling me about it, I didn't understand what you meant, but I understand it now. When you win a trophy, you want more. And I can't lie to you, I want to do it again. To be honest, whether it be Europa, whatever it is, I want to do it again. I want to celebrate again. I want to knock myself out again the way that I did.
Can't win the Europa though, bro.
Yeah, bro. But I think
You're
if
out
we,
of that, man. You're out of that now. It's Champions League, and if you go out, you don't drop down anymore. So
yeah, it's just look. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're asking me, would I rather be in the Europa League this season or the Champions League? I'd rather be in the Europa League. I don't think we're ready for it. I can't lie. But you know what? We're not any worse than you, if you know what I mean. I think Arsenal are flattered to deceive, and I think this season the wheels come off for Arteta finally. So, look, the point I'm making is now that I've won a trophy, I want to do it again. And if we win a Carabao and finish sixth, I think you would all agree that Spurs have had a good season. Given
this guy, he's like he's been visited by 3 ghosts, and he's woke up on Christmas morning, and he's like, "You there, boy? Bring me the dustiest trophy you can find."
I didn't say I want it. I didn't say I want it. All
you
I
said that's a good season.
It's a good season by Spurs fan standard, and for Thomas Frank, who's never won a trophy, given the circumstances. You already know where I stand when it comes to big boy trophies.
You're happy with we're happy with a Carabao and 6th place. You're happy with finishing in Europa League spots, another dusty competition, whilst winning another dusty. So you want dust on dust, according to you. So that's a change.
Thomas Frank is not going to come into Spurs and fight for the Premier League in this.
Well, this was my question. This was my next question. Is he going to be a success at Spurs? I like Thomas Frank. I've got to be honest. I don't know what you
tell me what you like. Tell me what you like about him, and then I'll be able to say whether he'll be a success. I think he can get a team well drilled, tactically astute. I actually believe as well that he's got some attack-minded football in his locker, because a lot of people have said that he's quite defensive with the way he sets up. I actually think he's quite balanced, if I'm honest, because Brentford's scoring ability last season, if you go check it, was actually pretty good. And if you look at Ben Rama and Watkins when they were scoring, you look at Ivan Toney who was scoring, Visser and Mbeumo who was scoring. I know we're talking about individual quality, but if he can bring in some attack-minded players to Spurs, there's no reason why he can't be a success, I don't think. But I don't think he's going to be the issue. I still think Levy and Enoch are the issue. So I don't think it matters who you get, because let's be real, Dej. You've had Jose Mourinho, Conte, Pochettino, Nuno and Ange, and it's gone wrong. So what happens now? Thomas Frank, is he going to be the next issue? Or is it going to be Levy and Enoch that actually you want to get out as a protest? Because it weren't long ago you were protesting, and now all that stopped because you got a trophy.
Can you call that a protest? Like 12 people and a fucking shitty little flag? Like, can you call that a protest?
Well, they can't protest. We were protesting. We're not happy. Look, the situation is, I've been saying it all along. I know as much as people say they want Levy out, he's not going anywhere. So you have to work with the circumstances that you have. The only look, I was underwhelmed when we brought in Frank. I was like, bloody hell. Tottenham, the way they got rid of Ang and said, look, wait for the announcement of our new manager. I was expecting Xavi. Let me not lie to you. I thought some big European manager was coming in. The one thing I have thought, though, on reflection is that a lot of the Spurs players last season underperformed. Yeah? Look at our back four. Udogie. If Udogie can meet the heights he met when he first arrived in the Prem, then you've got a player that could be up there in the top 3 left backs in the country. I think Jed Spence has the potential to be in the top 3-4 right backs in the country. And then our centre back pairing of Romero and Van der Ven, without that high line, can be up there as good as or close to Gabriel and Saliba. And then what we're looking at is the Spurs midfield. And that's where the issues start and our attack. I've spoken to Brighton fans, and I've said this on every show I've been on in the last couple of days. Brighton fans will tell you Prime Basuma is better than Prime Caicedo. Even Don agrees with that statement. Can Thomas Frank bring back the old Basuma? If he does, all of a sudden, Tottenham's midfield is a different kettle of fish to compete with. If he can bring back Bentancur, Madders, that's a different kettle of fish. All of a sudden, you've got a top 8, top 6 side. Solanke can do a job. The issue is the wing. Now, we bring in Eze and a Semenyo. I know that Eze is not quite a winger, but he can do something off the left. All of a sudden, Spurs have a top 6 side that can compete. I hope that's what Thomas Frank does. But if you're asking me whether I think he can do it, I'm not sure. And partly because I've never seen this guy. He's never competed in the league and in the Champions League. And what Tottenham said is the reason for getting rid of Ange was they want us to compete on all 4 fronts. I just don't know how we compete on all 4 fronts with someone who's never experienced that. For me, it would have needed a Conte. It would have needed, an Nagelsmann. It would have needed a Klopp, someone who's done it before. So that's the unknown for me. And because of that, I'm not sure whether he can be a success. People keep talking about how great a coach he is. Only time will tell. I think at this level, when you're dealing with a top 6 side, you have to have a bit of experience or a bit of nous about you. Do you know what I mean? And does Thomas Frank have that? I'm not sure. It might just be I'm not sure is the honest answer.
What are
you
you
know
saying,
who
Lordy?
did do it before? Ange. Ange done it before. And you sacked him for Frank, so.
Ange didn't compete on all 4 fronts, mate. He gave up.
But he competed at that level. He won trophies. He's played Champions League football. Like he's got that experience. Do you know what I mean? And if he gets back, then he could have done so. But like I said, it's not that you sacked him. You cancelled season 3 just to get someone like Thomas Frank in.
The reason why we cancelled season 3 was because we knew and we saw in the league, and I think what killed it for Ange was the Brighton game after the final, because that was an opportunity for him to, in front of the Spurs fans, with the feeling of winning the Europa League title, to send them packing for the summer with a good performance and a hoo-ha. We got absolutely slapped up 4-1. So in the Prem, he didn't change his style. He made it clear to the board he ain't going to change his style. And we had the real risk of starting the next 10 games with probably 8 defeats next season and being with West Ham. Do you know what I mean? Being with West Ham, where we're talking about fighting with West Ham going down. So I weren't ready to do that. I'd rather have a fresh start, which is why the board got rid of him. And I think it was the right decision, even though.
Well, let me come in with this, right? I know this is London, but there's no Don or D, and someone wanted to come in and have their say, so I thought I'd jump in.
Yes, Sophie. I've not seen you since I've won, have I?
Someone more deluded than D. Let's come in.
More deluded than D. You talking about the D before that Lawless in your name there? What are you talking about?
Yeah, listen. We're talking about well, more deluded than me. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I could say that.
Bro, what happened to 5th last year, man?
But what happened to you getting Eze? Do you remember when he said that Eze would join?
I didn't say that. I said Forest are interested in Eze.
Yeah, and you acted like it wasn't the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, and it was credible.
That's the most ridiculous thing. Being linked with a player is ridiculous.
Being linked with a player that you have no hope.
Who you linked with? Who you linked with? I ain't seen one link for West Ham. Who are you?
Is that my problem that you ain't seen links?
Right,
you ain't
so
seen links?
Tell me these elite players that are coming to East London, please.
Harvey Elliott, apparently, Wolfie.
No, genuinely, you were linked with Billy Gilmore.
That was like last. That was last year.
Yeah, it was this summer you were linked with Billy Gilmore.
I haven't seen that, but like I said, you wanted a link. I said Harvey Elliott. You're not really linked with Eze. Like that's a joke. Like,
right, this is a London show, right? So let's keep it on the London clubs here before you try your deflection. So are you getting Harvey Elliott?
I never said we was getting Harvey Elliott. I never said we was, but you wanted links. Are you getting Eze?
Yeah, we start with the links, and we're going to develop the conversation on. So, like, we got to look at West Ham.
What I'm just saying is the fact that you would want to entertain Eze to Forest proves that you're deluded. That you think there's a possibility.
All right, cool, but let's keep it on
the receipts.
Okay, but I heard what Potts was saying about the whole play your youth team or what have you. Potts, usually I agree with a lot of what you say, but I actually think that wouldn't work. Because their kids are probably better than their first teammate. That's the problem they've got right now, if we're being honest. It would be Bowen plus the kids. That would literally be it. Even when Forest were bustling it towards the end of the season, there was one team we could rely on to give us 3 points. And that was West Ham. And Potter has been an absolute joke, Lawless. And you must be like looking back at your videos when you were angry with Moyes thinking, at least we were winning stuff. At least we were winning stuff.
Lawless will take Moyes back in a heartbeat. And I warned him. I like that.
We all did, bro.
Shut up, man. My God. How long are we going to do this for? The Moyes thing. How long?
Until you admit that you were wrong.
How long? How low? can we go with this Moyes shit? It's so obvious to see that the problem isn't even a managerial one at this point. It's the squad that we have built.
No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. Because when it was Moyes, you weren't talking about the squad. It was Moyes' fault, right? Unless he now admits
he was the manager. He built the squad. This was before directors of football and all
he
of that
won you
stuff.
your first trophy since, like, you had hair last time you won a trophy, man. What are you doing?
So why is that okay? Well, okay, so then why is it okay for Moyes, right? But Ange has got to go. Ange has got to go. Why?
Because
why?
We're a big.
You're not a big club. You don't win trophies.
You're a relegation bottlers.
No, you're not a big club. Shut up. You're not a big club.
Lawless, you can't compare what you can't compare what Moyes has done to what Ange has done, bro. They're two different things. Moyes,
why? They're not.
I'll tell you why. Moyes took Everton to a Champions League European football. Then he went from West Ham, saved them from relegation, put them consistently playing European football, won them their first trophy in 43 years, and then walked out, let's be real, and is now doing a better job than anyone's done for Everton in the last 3 years. And you can't deny any of that.
That's all for the timeline. What was that timeline? He got, what did you say? He got Everton.
That was his career. He went
wait,
to
wait,
Everton.
hold up. You went, this is what you said. He got Everton to a Champions League quarter-final.
No,
then
I
he
didn't
went
say
to
that.
West
He
Ham.
never did that. He got them to qualified them for the Champions League.
Oh, qualified.
He left Everton, went to Manchester United. Obviously, that was a disaster. Yeah, but that was because, come on, man, that was Man United. I'm talking about West Ham and Everton, what he's done there.
Okay, but this is the same. No, but this is the same guy that went there and was, walking into the dressing room trying to tell people, these players that have won everything, listen to me. I know how it is. Showing them tapes of Jagielka or whatever.
Right, so he deserves no credit for Everton or West Ham because he was terrible at Manchester United.
No, what I'm trying to say is you're trying to paint him as this super manager.
Lawless.
So disingenuous, man.
I'm just saying, like.
Can I ask a question genuinely? And this is genuine. I need you to answer it properly. Don't you want to stay up?
What's that got to do with anything?
Like, we're trying to help. We're telling you what you need to stay up, and you're fighting us. This is what you did last season. Bro, you need Moyes. You need Moyes.
Deji, correction. What he did last season was predict that West Ham would come fifth with Lopetegui in charge. That's what he did.
Remember, after a couple of games. No, the context is after a couple of games of Lopetegui, he was there on his new channel going, you know what? It was the Villa game. I can even tell you what game it is, Lawless. The Villa game where you lost him 2-1, I think it was, early on. You're like, I'm seeing a style of play here with Lopetegui. There are signs here. Huh?
They were signs. They were signs, but they didn't evolve beyond signs. That was the problem.
Well, you ace of base, man. I saw the sign. Is that what we're doing back then?
Wolfie, do you think West Ham can go down? Deji thinks they can.
I think what West Ham need to do, if they want to be serious about next season, is sack Potter and bring Dyche in while he's still free before Leicester get him. Because that's the safest thing for you, Lawless. At some stage, West Ham have to realise the true size of their club, which is probably on par, you would say, with maybe a Brentford or something like that, or a Bournemouth.
You know what? I love this. One little like overachieving season, right? Next season's going to be such a reality check, and they're going to be begging Steve Cooper to come back. Please, Steve. Please, come back.
Not even a gunpoint.
Can I just back Wolfie's point?
Thank you.
One of the things that I've realized with football clubs is you can tell a lot about a club with some of the things that they do, off the field. For example, when Arsenal brought out that shower curtain, moments before their semi-final home leg against PSG, you already knew the game was done. If you were wise, you would have been at the bookies and put 100 quid that they were going to get slapped up by PSG. That shower curtain was an indication of how seriously they see themselves and the competition. West Ham West Ham is no bigger than Brentford. Brentford have their own stadium. These men are having to rent out our Olympic Park. I mean, this is the most.
Do you know why we're renting it? Do you know why? Do you know why we're renting it?
Really
Do you know why?
Our Olympic Stadium. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
because your club, yeah. The reason we're renting it is because your little bitch of a club had to cry when we was gonna buy it. Oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. They're gonna buy the Olympic Stadium. We want it. We want it. It's not fair.
Then the Olympic Stadium, man.
Yeah, because of your shit club. That's why.
Okay, no problem.
So don't blame us. It's your fault, mate. It's your fault. But that means nothing, mate. It means nothing because we won a trophy in this shit stadium. So
what Stanley Cush in the chat, what happens is, when they do the Diamond League, the athletes, when they do the Diamond League in the summer before they go off for the World Championship, European Championship, they use West Ham Stadium. Yeah, they use the Olympic Stadium. That's what it is. It's not even West Ham Stadium, it's the Olympic Stadium. Home for Team GB. Hold that. Hold that, Team GB. That's our home.
Wait, Deji, what are you the home of then? Beyonce?
Oh,
don't go there.
Is it F1? Is it Beyonce?
You.
Brown was in town.
Let me tell you about your club, yeah? Did you know?
On it.
Do you know the new plan for your stadium? You know what they want to do? Because I've seen the plans. That actual plot of land that you're on is the next centre parks that they're going to build. Forest of Doom, yeah. Longleat Forest, Everdeen Forest, Sherwood Forest, and then you guys, the Forest Ground. That's right, centre parks, mate. So hard guns, mate. About talking stadiums, yeah. I'm going to get my bike. I'm going to get my little cabin, yeah, and I'm going to go for a ride around your stadium. Hold that.
I think that's a long drive up for you, Dej.
I was in bloody Barrow and Finesse the other day, so that is minor.
What are you saying about Spurs, Wolfie?
You know what, Deji, you're going to catch some strays from George because George dodged it yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You told me when you won the Europa League that you would become a serious club. Did you not?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. You told me you got Champions League. You're back at the elite table.
Yeah.
Why the fuck have you signed this defender from the J League?
Hold on. First and foremost,
is that serious?
Can I just say something? First of all, you have no right to swear at me on this show. And a couple months ago, you said that you were more likely to be playing Champions League football than my club. Hold that. So you are beneath me. Let's be real. Moving into this season,
you can't say that. No, you can't say that.
The last season's done, my bro.
No. You don't get to pull that card, Deji.
Everyone's been sorted out, is it not?
You don't get to pull that card. Do you know why?
Are you playing in Europe this season?
Well, yes, I am. But hold on, you don't get. I'm playing in Lawless's contest, man. For now. But I'm taking it off D shortly. But you don't get to play that card, Deji. Shall I tell you why? Why did you sack your manager, which you were for, by the way?
Yeah, because we're a big six club.
Okay, and where did you finish?
Why did Ancelotti get sacked at Madrid?
Forget Ancelotti. We're talking about crappy Spurs now, right?
I'm using it to tell you, to give context. Why did Ancelotti get sacked?
I don't care.
I'll tell you. Because it wasn't good enough. Yeah? The reason why we sacked our manager was because even winning the Europa League trophy, it weren't good enough. It's called standards, bro. No.
Good. Because of the league standards, yeah?
If you finished 7th with a Champions League title with Nuno, you would have kept him.
Okay, so just so we're clear, the reason is because of your standards, you sacked him because you were too low in the table, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so you have to make up 10 places.
Kota Takai is his name, just to let everyone know.
Yeah, freaking Cobra Kai, mate. Seriously. Like, who the hell is this guy, man? This is the standards. You've got to make up 10 places just to catch me up. You got to make up 3 places just to catch Lawless up. You can't hide behind the Europa trophy because you said the reason that you were behind Ange being sacked was because of the league position. Yeah, so the Europa trophy is null and void in any of these conversations because you wanted him sacked for league. So tell me, how does Cobra Kai even get you to Lawless's level now?
You don't, bro. It's fake news.
What?
What?
Deji
It's fake
Trump.
news.
What are you saying?
It's fake news, bro. I don't take any of that stuff seriously. Do you know what I mean? Until he signs on the dotted line, it's fake news.
Okay, but
Who
you
are
ain't
you going
signed
to sign
anyone.
then, Deji? Tell me who you're going to sign. Now you're in the Champions League.
Yeah,
Tell.
come on.
Mateus, tell.
Give us the name. Give us the
Dan,
caliber.
I saw your shameless show earlier today. Absolutely shameless about Eze agreeing in terms of your club. What a disgrace. Eze signing for my club, hence why they lowered the
Oh, is he? Okay.
buyout clause, and also why they extended it that we could pay over 3 years. He doesn't want to come to your team. I mean, what are you offering that Spurs ain't offering? Hold that. So Eze comes to my club, and we get Semenyo, and I think you bring in them two players. We're all right, mate. We can compete. Top 6. As for Nottingham Forest, let's just be real. Yeah, Wolfie had his 5 minutes of fame last season, and he did pretty well with it. You know, he's well known now. People like him. I think I saw him. People saying in the chat he's Mr. Chaos, but he's going back to where he came from. Yeah, he's going camping. Yeah, he's going camping with his family, and he's going to get a little stove and he's going to light fires because Forest ain't going to be involved in anything serious or credible this season. They had an opportunity to make history and they made dust. So that's why, Wolfie, I was giving you respect because you were top 4 and then you bottled it. Like really, the bottling was disgraceful. So you just need to hold that, bro. But when it comes to my club and your club, you're there competing for Lawless's trophy. I'm there competing with Dan to see which one of us is going to get further in the Champions League. Hold that.
All right, let's do this then. So you want to look forward to next season. What trophy are you winning next season? Because you sacked Ange, who won a trophy, because things aren't good enough. Therefore, I presume progression is what for Spurs? Please explain.
We can't progress next season because we brought in a new manager. I think if it was under,
So why did you sack Ange then, man?
You can't progress. You can't progress from 17th. Come on, Deji.
So
Wow.
No, listen. I had given you Tottenham's roadmap. I told you he got 5th at the beginning of last season. Dan, if you get the clips out, I said for this season Tottenham need to win a trophy and get Champions League. I didn't know how we were going to do it. I did say that to you, but that was a necessity. Season 3, what I believe Ange was saying, although I don't believe him, was Tottenham was to mount a title challenge. We cannot mount a title. We cannot mount a title challenge this season because he's gone. You know what? Wolfie is a waste man. He's a complete waste man. Therefore, yeah, what we can only hope for is top 6 and any domestic trophy.
So you should have kept Ange then. You could have gone in that title challenge then. Right.
I thought he was going to bring in a serial winner. We've taken a sideward step with Thomas Frank, and is Thomas Frank going to achieve any more than what Ange would have? I'm not sure.
He's better than Ange. He's better than Ange in terms of tactically, though, isn't he?
Yeah, tactically he's better than Ange, but is he going to achieve something? Is he going to win something? He's not done that.
Well, you don't want to win any of those trophies, Dej. You don't want to win any of those cups. You told me.
Look, Dan, you already know where I stand. I'm about the big trophies and the big trophies only.
So you want to win the Premier League or the Champions League this season?
We can't though. But that's what I would have.
At least you're not being that deluded. That's good to know.
That is what I wanted, but because Thomas Frank is new to the club, he doesn't know the players. We have to learn his style of play. It's unrealistic to expect him to win the league with that team this season. However, if he's doing a good job, who knows? 27, 28, he might be able to do something.
Is it?
Are you saying
Frank twice last season? This is what the comments say. Ange beat Frank twice last season.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know what's weird? Wolfie, do you know what's weird? Where's all the protests at Tottenham gone?
Do you know what I mean? Where were they in the first place? All I saw there.
You guys, it's all your fault. I mean, Dan, I'm looking at your channel. I mean, everybody like and subscribe. This fella is almost on 50,000. He's doing a great job in the scene. Lawless, Wolfie, these are all legends. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here. I'm the minnow amongst them. I mean, Dan, you're part of the problem because you said that you don't give a damn as long as you win a trophy. 50,000 plus people hear this on a weekly basis. Guess what? We won a trophy and then the thing died down. For me, I've got standards for my club. I want to.
It wasn't hard. It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard to die the protest down, really, though, was it? I mean, it wasn't exactly like it was. It was thousands and thousands of people of a wall you couldn't get through. Like everybody had a clear message. Me and Wolfie took how long do you reckon, Wolfie? 5 weeks to ask George what he was protesting about.
Honestly, man, like I still don't know what they were protesting to this day. If you could clarify for us, Deji, what the protest was about, because I heard some stuff about like you're protesting for old people. You were protesting because you wanted a trophy. You were protesting, I don't know, something about the toilets.
The truth of the matter is, and I think I said it on someone's show yesterday, Spotlight on Spurs, it's worrying times for Spurs because Tottenham are saying they haven't got money because they're investing in a hotel. They've invested all this money on all these concerts, F1, the whole 9 yards. We are in danger of just becoming an American franchise, mate. No one gives a damn. It's just entertainment city. You go there to watch movies. You go there to watch the F1 movie. You go there to listen to Beyonce and watch Chris Brown shake his bum, and nothing gets invested in the club. That's a genuine fear. That's a genuine reason to protest. Tottenham are withholding money, I think 230 mil, because they want to build hotel. What for? We've got Premier Inns dotted all about. Why do we need to build a hotel outside of our stadium? That's nonsense. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, look, I know Ian are British, but if you look at the way Tottenham is designed their team, I heard from some Americans the other week that they are literally going to pilot in the next 2 seasons the Jacksonville Jaguars having a whole season of NFL football in London. Can you imagine that? NFL football for a whole season in London. That means all the American teams would have to fly to London to play the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, the worst NFL team of all time, the deadest team.
Bruv, so you already know if that's what's going on, it's dangerous time. So for me,
They should fit right in, Lawless. They should have named a stadium.
Exactly. It's how appropriate.
Let me come to the last couple of questions, and then we'll come to a close. Super chats from Steven says, Deji talking about standards. I'm not going to read the last bit out, but that is the badge.
Stephen is here doing what he does best, which is wasting money. This brother cannot chat to me because I've won a trophy now. He says, this is what you sound like when your club goes 17 years. Shut your mouth. How about it's been 4 weeks since my last trophy? Hold that, mate. Hold that.
Man, we can't talk about trophies. Big up to Stephen, though, every time. Let's close on Arsenal. These are the genuine question for the panel. I mean, I don't want to really talk much about it because I do it every day on here, but let me get your thoughts. Flawless, start with you. What do you make so far of what Arsenal have done? I know it's early days.
That's it. It's just like I'm seeing people hype it. I'm seeing people trash it. It's a nothing window. Like you're signing players that probably aren't going to play much football for you, obviously, except Zubimendi, who's been signed for like weeks and weeks and weeks now. And we ain't seen the geezer, but you'll probably sign him. But yeah, obviously you're at the moment you're falling behind Liverpool and Man City, which you don't want. They've got a massive head start on you guys, so you need to get your fingers out. You've got this Berta guy in. He better fucking get to work, innit? Like, what's the point? He should have been doing his homework. He should have been prepared for this. And yeah, man, I bought
in Kepa, looking like we're bringing in Mosquera, who's the centre half from Valencia. Links with Joel Harto, the Ajax left back. Need another left back, right? Then you've got the midfield situation with Norgard and Zubimendi.
You getting another left back?
Well, he's a left-sided defender. Like that's the link anyway. But he's only going to come in if Kivior goes, apparently, and Zinchenko goes. And then we're looking at the attack-minded players, which the three that we're apparently linked with are Rodrigo, Eze, and Gyökeres or Sesko. That's what our window is going to look like potentially. So I ain't going to get too excited.
You want me to go next or Wolfie?
Go on.
You go, Dodge. You go.
So, look, Dan, I think sometimes the reason why you bring me on this show is to bring balance, because a lot of these guys like Lawless,
Make himself feel better, maybe.
they'll be here shaking their bum for you and your club. Look, I think your club is one of the dustiest teams I've ever seen in my life, and I'll explain why. I mean, what are you doing? Like, for me, we've had 3 seasons of you being nearly men. 3 seasons. We know what you need to do. You need to bring in a striker who's going to bag goals. But your manager is allergic to strikers. I've got Arsenal fans telling me that Zubi Doo is somehow going to come in and change the landscape. Somehow he's better than Partey. Are you smoking Pudgy Banton? You're bringing in a left back. You've got 5. You've got 5. Shivami Timbers can play there. Miles Lewis-Skelly plays there. Tierney plays there. Zinchenko plays there. Kivior plays there. I mean, how many left backs do you want? I was told last year you're bringing in extra cover. Are you smoking bush? Then you don't want Gyökeres. You want to bring in Sesko. Sesko who? Remember Nunes. Remember what he was like when he was at Benfica. He was a world beater. Well, look at him at Liverpool. So there's no guarantee that Gyökeres is going to do anything, even if you bring him over the line. Eze's fake news, and then you want to bring in Rodrigo. You man don't want it. Your owners don't want it. The Arsenal fans tell me about my club. But whether you like Spurs or not, whether you like Levy or not, he does his own thing to get his outcome. He got a trophy. You, man, look like you're just going to be walking around on a hamster wheel in circles. Arsenal is not serious. I wish you, man, would go out and do the right business. 2 players, get in the Osimhen, yeah, bring in a left-sided midfielder and get the job done. But you won't do it. So Man City now and Liverpool are already ahead of you, and we ain't started the season yet. Then you're going to let Newcastle, who slapped you up pretty much every time they played you last season, come through. So you, man, are not looking at challenging. You, man, are hoping for top 4. I'm disappointed in Arsenal, I have to say. Even though I'm a rival fan, even though I banter, I like to see the best teams with the best players compete. And you're not one of them. You're not one of them this season, mate. It's disappointing.
Listen, a lot can change. I'm going to try and defend as best as I can here, but I am going to struggle. Telling me that I'm one of the dustiest clubs while you're sat in 17th is actually quite funny, Dej, if I'm honest. However,
we are on par right now, are we not?
We're not on par right now. No, you're in it. You're in a new process, a new transitional phase of a new manager that you've just said you can't have any progress whatsoever because of 17th, and now you brought in Thomas Frank. There's no expectations for Tottenham next season, so you've already written off your season. I actually feel like we've got a team that can win a trophy. My problem is the manager. It's not even so much this team. Some of these players I don't rate, but actually the majority of them are quality. So I feel like we're in a better position to win something next season than Tottenham, because now that Tottenham aren't in a dusty competition like the Europa or the Conference, I think that actually Arsenal have got better chance than Tottenham of winning something. The other thing I'll say is I actually do agree with you, however, that it is crazy that we're linked with everything other than a striker. But we are going to get one. Whether we want the one that we get or whether I want the one that we get is another situation. Sesko, no. Gyökeres, I would take. Osimhen, I would take. Isak, I would take. Alvarez, I would take. One of those 4 I need to come in the door, right? Then I need to see Rodrigo. I need Eze to come through the door, who I think would choose Arsenal over Spurs. I don't know why he wouldn't, personally. So that's where I'm at. You think Eze would choose Spurs over Arsenal?
I think he does, Ben.
Why?
What are you offering more than Spurs?
The only thing you can offer more than us is guaranteed first-team football. But you can't offer winning something or a title or a Champions League.
But neither can you.
No, we can offer that we're going to be going for the title and we got a chance of winning the Champions League. Tottenham ain't.
Can I just say, and this is the disrespect that sometimes comes in. Look, Eze is
not disrespect. You told yourself you can't win the Premier League.
You want to get a trophy winner to come to a club that's scared of trophies. Why?
What are you talking about? He's not a trophy winner.
Eze wants to win. He's more likely
He's won
to
the trophy with Palace.
Look,
now
I said
he wants to win. Where should he go then?
Look,
so you think he should go to Tottenham so he can win?
Look, I said a statement last season that you poo-pooed and you laughed, and I'm going to remind you. I said Spurs is more likely to win a trophy than Arsenal. First, you laughed. It sounded like complete nonsense, but it happened.
Are you going to say it again?
Tottenham was more likely to win a trophy than Arsenal. I say Tottenham is more likely to win a trophy than Arsenal again, because you're not doing the business that you need to show the rest of the league that you're going to be serious contenders.
What trophy are you winning? What trophy are you winning now?
I told you, like, Spurs are going to be shameless this season and go for a Carabao Cup, but you would bite my hand off for a Carabao.
I'd take a Carabao. Yeah, I would. I'd take any trophy. But
you're not gonna
you don't want a trophy. You told me those dusty trophies there.
I don't want it, but the fact that Spurs fans can take it all day long.
My God, you don't want it. You just told me you wanted another trophy.
Why would I want a Carabao Cup? Me.
The Carabao Cup is harder to win than the Europa League, bro. You know that.
Nice. Come on.
The thing is, Deji. The thing is, Deji. I said this in the group chat the other day.
Yeah.
They're not on your level. They're on the level of Crystal Palace. Because both Arsenal and Crystal Palace have won one FA Cup in the last 5 years. So you tell me what the difference is right now between Arsenal and Crystal Palace.
The level of quality is the difference, Wolfie.
But the end result is the same.
No. So I'm going into next season, right? I'm going into next season and I'm Eze and I'm thinking, do I stay at Palace? Might win another domestic cup. Do I stay at Tottenham? Might win another domestic cup because I don't think they can win the Premier League or the Champions League. Or do I go to Arsenal? The place I was, I think we released him at 12 or 13. He's obviously an Arsenal fan and have a genuine chance of winning either a Premier League, a Champions League, or an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup. I think he would choose Arsenal over the other two.
He could choose Forest and guarantee a European Cup.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Conference League. Maybe he wants that.
Trophies.
Don't say guarantee, yeah, because Leicester couldn't do it. Tottenham couldn't do it. Villa couldn't do it.
Do what?
And we went unbeaten.
Well, Leicester in it. Well,
Leicester in it.
Do what?
Yeah, Leicester was in it the same. I think Leicester was in it the year before us.
Lawless,
they actually were, you know. I'm sure they were, you know.
Win the Europa Conference League. Are you for real?
What?
A competition that we removed ourselves from.
Oh, shut up, man! I'm so tired of it. We removed ourselves. You were third in your.
We didn't turn up. We are to continue. We're so dusty.
No. Basically, first of all, you were third in in your group. Yeah. So you was due to be eliminated anyway. Second of all, you didn't remove yourselves. You didn't have enough players because of COVID. You couldn't field a full team, so you were disqualified. So, but you were before you got knocked out.
I don't
just to confirm, Leicester got knocked out in the semi-finals in 2022. So well done, Lawless. Sorry,
Why don't I remember that? I don't remember being
either.
in that competition. Yeah.
I mean, look, for me, why are we talking about Europa Conference Leagues when, you know what I mean, what we did with the Europa, hold that. So
because that would be a step up for us, wouldn't it? Let's be real here. If they won the Europa Conference League, it's better than what they've done in the last 4 years.
I can't deny that.
Europa Conference League. They would.
What I can't accept, though, is how Deji and his Spurs fans poo-poo the competition they couldn't get it through and qualify for, and then laugh at West Ham for winning it. That makes no sense to me at all.
No. Let me be honest with you, and
I actually stick up with Lawless for once here.
And Dan, you look. Just to remind you, I'm only about the big trophies. You know that. And Spurs won a significant.
Like the Europa League.
Spurs won. Well, I wouldn't say the Europa League is on par with the champs and the Prem.
Do you class it as a major?
It's not quite a major, but it's the next best thing.
So a minor. No, it's like it's either a major or a minor.
As for the Europa Conference League, I would rather play City in the Charity Shield, in the Community Shield.
Wait, the Conference League is better than the League Cup on what you get rewarded. How can you shake your head? What happens if you win the League Cup? What competition you entered into?
You go into Europa League.
No, you're not.
The League Cup? No, you don't. No, you don't actually. You don't win nothing. You don't get anything, do you?
Yes, you do.
What'd you get?
Fucking Conference League, bro.
It's a Conference League. Bro, yeah. I don't go that low, bro. I don't like the Conference League. I don't think of it.
Okay, so Now that you know what you get with that, if you win the Conference League, what do you get? Europa.
Yeah.
So which has the bigger prize at the end of the pot?
I get you. Yeah. That's totally fine. I get you.
It was such a good
Europa
achievement for them
Conference
to
League,
win the Europa League that they ended up
We're
sacking their manager.
we're not in the Europa Conference League, unfortunately, so I can't give that as an objective.
You were in it. You were.
I can't give that as an objective for Thomas Frank this season. And is Spurs going to win the Champions League? No. Is Spurs going to win the Premier League? Not this season.
So you're going to win the
Carabao.
Carabao.
The only thing Tottenham can win is either FA Cup or Carabao. I don't want them, but that's the only things we can win.
I want to know what your objectives are, Dej, because your objectives, as you said, for Ange were to win a trophy, get Champions League. I want to know what your objectives are, so Frank knows what's going to happen, like when he hits those objectives and gets fired by you for doing his job.
I think if Thomas Frank can get Tottenham top 6 and a Carabao, I think the Tottenham fan base would be satisfied.
So his objectives are a lot less than Ange's were. His standards.
Would you sack him for that? Would you sack him?
What, for 6 and a Carabao? No.
Yeah.
It's his first season. He's done well.
I thought you was a big club. I thought you had standards.
What did Ange do in his first season?
He's got to get his foot under the ground, bro.
Oh,
what
so
did Ange do in his first season?
And brief. He's just got it.
His time.
He got here last week. We're back to zero. And it would be so funny if Thomas Frank gets a trophy before Arteta. That would be funny. That
would be funny.
That would be entertainment.
If he gets
Arteta's already got a trophy
and no trophy, then you want him sacked, yeah?
Say that again.
If he gets 6th place and no Carabao, no trophy,
even if he doesn't win a trophy, 6th place is respectable for his first season at my club. Yes.
Wait,
he's in phase one, man. He's in phase one.
Yeah, phase one.
Wait, did you realize what you're saying?
He's just started, guys. What are you thinking, Thomas Frank can do?
No, what are you thinking, bro? Where did Ange finish in his first season?
5th.
What did he get for 5th?
Europa.
And he got another season.
Okay. In his second season, he then won you a trophy and got you Champions League. What you are saying now is that it is acceptable for Frank to finish 6th, which, if the coefficient doesn't come into 5, would be Conference League, the one you don't want. And you're saying that's more acceptable than what you held Ange to in his first season.
I told you at the beginning.
You're digressing.
I am underwhelmed by the signing of Thomas Frank. So it's not realistic to believe that he's going to out-achieve.
Why are you underwhelmed by it? Who the hell did you think Spurs could pull as manager?
Exactly.
For me personally, given the size of my club and the availability, I was expecting Xavi. You know, I was expecting Xavi to come to my club, and then we went sideways and went Thomas Frank, and I was like, "What are we doing?" So I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm vexed, but do you know what I mean? It is what it is. It's
wait. So if you're vexed, right? Why are you giving him such easy targets next year, where clearly you're pretty much Frank out already?
Because we finished 17th, bro. So 6th and a Carabao is what he needs to do, which is a fair target for his first season. Look, Dan would celebrate Arteta with 6th and a Carabao, but also ask him to leave. He would. He said, "You know what? Thanks for the trophy, but you got to go." But he would thank him for the trophy.
Hey, I want Arteta, get Arteta gone if he isn't in the title race and wins a trophy this season. That's for me. Let me close on this question, actually, because it's a nice little segue. Before we do that, Stephen's come back at Wolfie this time, and I said, "Wolfie, at least my club has seen a trophy in the last 5 years." What do you want to say to that?
Support?
Arsenal.
Stephen's
Arsenal. Yeah, let me know when you've seen the big European trophy. Yeah, I can lend you one.
This one I've got to ask you. I want a genuine question. It's a genuine question because I've got if Arsenal, I've got to win the Premier League or the Champions League, or Arteta should be sacked. What do you think to that, Lawless? Do you think that's fair, or do you think he just get any trophy and he'll be fine?
Listen. I know you said any trophy's fine, or any trophy and competing. But I just feel like it's all what the process is and the phases has all been designed to win the big one, right? So if you win a Carabao Cup and come 3rd or 2nd, then what? You're still in a process, and now you believe because you've won a Carabao, you can win the Prem next year. Then we're going to go next year again. Like if you truly believe in the team that you've built, then surely it's time to give another manager a go. But this is the thing with Arsenal, and I know all the chat. Oh, if other fans are saying that we should get rid of Arteta, that means we should keep him. That ridiculous logic. Because I'll tell you something, your owners aren't going to sack him because I say. No one's saying Man City should get rid of Pep. No one's saying that, are they? No one's saying Liverpool should sack Slot, are they? So that logic doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, but you're not saying sack Arteta, are you, Lawless? You want him there.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I'm not going out and saying, Cronky, please sack Arteta, am I? I'm saying what I think is good for you to do is to give someone else a chance with this players rather than giving Arteta chance after chance after chance. But that's up to you guys. Keep endless phase, endless process. If that's what you want, the attachment to this guy, I don't get the emotional attachment to someone that has nothing.
I'm going to politely ask you to put that question back up, Dan.
Yeah, of course, bro. Let me do it. Hang on. Here we go.
Arsenal to win the Premier League, the Champions League, or Arteta to be sacked. I can't help but think that's a loaded question.
Go on.
It's really loaded, mate, and I'm finding it very difficult. So I'm just going to be honest with you, bro. I think it's neither of the three. I think you guys will shake your bum violently for an FA Cup.
Potts will probably cry. I can imagine him crying.
So it's not Arsenal to win Prem or Champs and we're done. I don't think you're of that level to even put that question out there. I actually think you guys are happy, and I think the majority of I speak to a lot of Arsenal fans who think that, you know, Dan and Northside and Lee Gunner, they think you got madmen. They would quite happily, they like what Arteta is doing. They would happily take third in the FA Cup. So it isn't Prem, Champs, or sack. It's FA Cup and top four. And
yeah, but they're just probably because they're young. They're young. They didn't see the proper Arsenal.
Well, no, I know. Bro,
it's good as it gets for them. Do you know what I mean?
It's disgraceful. It's really, it's talk about high standards. That is not high. But Arsenal fans will bite your hand off for top four in FA Cup. Trust me.
I haven't met any Arsenal fan who's, well, apart from Miguel, who's of the age who was around, who could remember the Wenger, the Invincibles, the Henrys, the Bergkamps, go back further, Ian Wright, Campbell's, you know, all them men who would sit here and say they're happy with what they're seeing. I still think there's a generational split in this Arsenal fan base. Like my son, unfortunately, is an Arsenal fan. I have to educate him. Yeah, I have to educate him on what good Arsenal football was, because he thinks this crap he sees on the pitch is all he's known. And this is what I'm saying. I can see it firsthand. Like if I speak to Potts, it's different. If I speak to Turkish, you're getting different from what you're seeing from this younger generation who know no better. You got to understand, the younger generation don't know what it was like to see Henry. Just like I've had Forest fans who, when you say to them, Collymore, one of the greatest strikers, they're like, who? Do you know what I mean? There's not that connection with their history like maybe we had when we were younger with it all. And that's where the divide is. That's where I think the actual divide is. As for the question, I think the question is wrong. It should be, do you think he can win either X or Y, the Champions League or the thing? Because if the answer is no, he should be gone now. Why is he getting another year? Why is he getting another year?
The thing is, I've said this before, the process win the Premier League and then that's it? Or is it actually being a team that can win, defend, win again, win, and be one of those teams? It seems like it's just get there, just win it, and then we're done, and then contract for life. Like can he build a team that can? Like Gal thinks he can dominate, right? But can he actually win consistently, or is it just a one-off season that he's finally going to get there, and then we're cool?
I've been at Camden Station, Stratford Station. Do you get me? I've been at bloody Hackney Down Station. I've been at Tottenham Court Road. I've been at bloody Oxford Street and Bond Street. Arsenal fans are happy with the football they are playing. Trust me.
No,
they are haps Right now, they feel like Arteta has brought back the respect of rival clubs. They can't understand the pressure for a trophy, and so they don't want it, mate. So the truth of the matter is, they're not thinking like that. Arsenal fans are content with finishing second and almost doing it.
Igal, if you're that's why you're here. Here he is. Question. Answer my question, Igal. Do you still believe Arsenal will dominate this season? That's what you said to me last season. Arsenal are gonna dominate. Yeah.
Dominate what?
Do you still believe that?
It's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Oh!
Hey! Yes, Igal! Yes, Igal! Respect.
Hey!
It's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Before Igal speaks,
it ain't easy.
This brother that told me to shut up will not bend.
But I came on because I heard you guys talking about the process. I'm pretty sure the process is always to build a sustainable, successful team, regardless who the manager is, regardless who comes in and out. To have a shell of a squad, which you don't necessarily need multiple additions every single window to be competitive. Now, we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten to the finish line. But the same way how Jose Mourinho was saying in that speech, talking about Manchester United and the investment from the past, we're building for a team where whoever comes in, even if it's not Arteta and it's somebody else, that they will see the squad and be like, you know what, this squad is competitive to win something right now, regardless of who's in charge, regardless of who's the director of football, who's running the club behind the scene. And I don't think the process is complete because we haven't won any of the major honors yet. But
I don't think
the process is simply just start winning. It's not just start winning. It's start running the club in a manner where you're trying to aim to win. Where we were in a 10-year period where we were just in the doldrums of just trying to be in top four, just happy to be in the.
Where were you before that?
Where now, let's be honest, the intentions of the club, as much as people say the club is not serious, you can clearly tell from the last 4 years, the intention of the club has been to try to get to the top of the Premier League and to try to get it to the top of the Premier League in the Champions League.
Can I ask you one question? Are you trying to build a football team or a business?
No, it's clearly a football team and it's clearly a competitive.
How is it clearly a football team where all I've heard from you in the last 24 hours is why the Norgard VPN deal was such good business? I never heard you talking about what great footballing strategy it is. All I've heard about is business. So you are now talking about this team as a business, not a football team.
One second, we're having two different conversations, and I don't want to steal the show. I'm just simply addressing the process point. When people speak about a process, they're speaking about changing the direction of your club. Your owner came into your club at Nottingham Forest and said, the process I want at Nottingham Forest is to change the club from a mid-table challenging for relegation to competing for European spots and seeing themselves as a team that could be challenging for the
No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
He wants you guys to
No, do you know what he said? He said, no, don't misquote him. He said, we are here not to make up numbers, but to win trophies. That's the difference, man, between my owner and your owner. That's the difference. They're happy with top four year in, year out because it's Champions League money. My owner don't care about the money. He wants trophies. That's the difference.
Regardless, you're not going to get there in 1 week. You're not going to get there in one season. You're not going to get there in 2 seasons.
It's been 5 years.
What about 5? Guess what? It actually hasn't, Dan. It's been 3. So all this stuff about 5 years is absolute bullshit. The first 2 years under Arteta were completely do not count towards challenging for major honors because the first season.
Let's not talk about the FA Cup then, because I hate when you guys talk about
facts. The FA Cup doesn't count.
Mikel Arteta does not have an FA Cup, ladies and gentlemen.
No. There's two different conversations. When you ask what has Arteta won, of course he won an FA Cup. But when you say 5 years challenging is disingenuous, because 2 of those years.
No, 5-year process, Igal. The process, even though he wasn't challenging, the start of the process, obviously to get you challenging, was first to qualify for Champions League, right? That was the first phase.
Yeah, it's phase one. It's phase one challenging. It's phase one challenging then.
The first window where he actually went out and improved the team dramatically was the window when we got Odegaard, Ramsdale, Ben White, and Tomiyasu and all those guys.
So to clarify, phase one is challenging. Is that what you're saying?
No,
There's no building
phase one is
phase.
building a new culture. But if we're talking about being competitive and challenging for the league, it's only been 3 years. Everyone's talking about 5 years. It's been 5 years. You haven't won the league. Let's be honest. 2 out of those 5 years, nobody even expected us to get top 4. So it's a little bit.
What about this year?
Quick
Just
question before I have to go.
Can I
Yeah,
just
I
qualify-
need to ask this question.
No,
Because I've been dying to know because because like last season, you said if Arteta don't win the league that season, doesn't compete, you'll be out. You explained why you changed it. Obviously, injuries, referee decisions, all of that. Why are you now going into this season believing you can win the league when you could have injuries? The same referees are in charge that you think don't want Arsenal to win the league, right? So why do you believe you can win it? And at the same time, you're saying next season he has to win something or you want him gone. How do we know you're not just going to do the same thing and then go context says we got to give him another season? Like, it's the same PGMOL is in charge.
Because we should have learned from our mistake from last year and go and address areas that we need to address. For example, get a quality backup defender for Saliba and Gabriel in this guy. Mascara, get a winger of quality coming into this season. Get a striker of quality coming into this season. If you're going to lose a player, make sure you replace them.
If the refs don't want you to win, Miguel, how can you address that? If they're like actively trying to, he had
a clear the air meeting with Howard Webb. No joke.
Oh, come on, Miguel, man, you're killing me.
You're killing me.
He just had a meeting. It's all okay. They have you win now. Now you can win.
In case you don't know, they had a clear the air meeting with what do you call it, Howard Webb at the end of the season. I'm pretty sure every club has a meeting with Howard Webb at the end.
Yes, they do. So what difference has that made?
And I do think
so the air is clear across the whole Premier League. We will have no mistakes next season. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm just saying this is where you have your conversations and you discuss what your issues are.
You make it sound like someone farted in there, man. They just cleared the air afterwards, man.
Ref decisions.
Because I do think referees are human, and at the end of the day, they can have small biases in certain games.
Igal, look, I don't want anyone to kind of rattle.
So funny. I love you, Igal.
In terms of your point of view, I hear you, and I think a part of me even agrees with you. I think it's okay to be content with what your team is doing. I think you genuinely believe that you guys are back from the dead. You believe that you guys are competing. And I think that's a fair point.
We're literally one pick away from winning the league.
Look, I guess the point I'm saying is this is probably the most relaxed I've seen you in over a year. So that means you're not bothered. No. You're not bothered about winning trophies. You're not bothered about bringing
into the World Cup.
What you are is you're just happy to be playing competitions and having a good day out. And what I'm saying to you is there is nothing wrong with wanting and having a good day out. And I'm just saying,
I feel like you're kind of being patronizing right there. You are because it's not just being happy to being top 4. Challenging for the league year in year out is not easy, bro. And if we do it again this year, that would be 4 out of the last 4 years potentially, or if you want to just say 3 out of the last 4 years, whichever way you want to.
If you finish second this season coming.
If we finish second this season,
would you not be happy?
No, it would be a failure. You should sack the manager.
Don't lie, bro.
No, I'm dead serious.
Need to clip that. That's 1 minute 29. I'll clip that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not changing my mind on Arteta again. I'm telling you.
You did last year. You did last year.
Yes, I did, because there were circumstances that were unprecedented.
What if there are circumstances?
Now the owners, the board, and the manager should be more prepared for those unprecedented circumstances if they do happen again. Because now they've happened, they're no longer unprecedented. You know what can happen, what can go wrong. You have to prepare for it. If you go camping and one time you lose all your energy, the next time you better have an extra battery pack. And this is basically
what if you go camping for 4 years and don't take a striker with you?
We're getting a striker, bro. We're gonna sign one of Sesko or Gyökeres.
Okay, so let's say what you just said there, right? Let's say Gyökeres comes in and I don't know, he gets an ACL. Obviously, no one wants him to on day 2. We're after just the day after the window closes, let's say.
We still improve our attack with wingers. Big
If
deal.
you don't win the league, let's say he's out for 6 months. You don't win the league,
we
you're
still
still
have
Arteta out, yeah?
we still have Kai Havertz. We still have a winger coming in this quality. I'm not necessarily panicked if we do get injuries.
I can't wait to hear the change.
He's not
We
bothered.
should be better prepared. We should be better prepared for injuries next season.
Oh, what a shame.
Deji, you've been rejected, Deji. Man United are better than you.
Bro,
And Buemo's going to Man United.
Bro, that's got nothing to do.
That
with-
fake news as well, Dej.
Can I tell
Let's
you
see.
why that is fake news?
He's
Your manager
allergic to
has
nuts.
no pull. His own
Can I
players
tell
are
you?
turning him down.
Bro,
You've got Champions League football and they haven't. That's bad.
Look, stop that. Which
Take
one,
it
of you,
out of this.
which one of you on this panel would turn down an easy payday?
Well,
It depends what the task was.
Adebayor at Spurs or at Man City was quite happy sitting on the bench. He didn't give a damn about coming on the pitch because he
He
was
was
on
your goal scorer in North
170
London derbies.
he was on 170 grand a week. He could care less whether he played or not, or whether he was named on the team sheet. If I was Mbeumo and I had the opportunity to get almost 200 grand a week from 50 grand, I would do it. Stop lying to yourself.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling us Spurs can't pay 200 grand a week?
We're not gonna.
They
No,
won't do that.
we are not stupid enough to pay Mbeumo 200 grand a week.
So Deji,
What has he done to suggest he's worth that?
How much
kind
are you
of
paying
money?
Solanke?
so Deji,
90 grand. Solanke's on 90
That fraud is
Less
getting
than
90
100.
grand a week.
What I'm trying, that's even good. If Solanke was at Arsenal, he would be at 180.
that's true.
He probably
He
would. He probably would.
180 a week.
So, Lawless, I know you got a shoot, bro. So you go,
Wait,
man. Big
I
up
want to
you,
say
man.
one thing. Deji just
on,
said
that's it.
something. Dan,
Yeah.
surely you have to agree with him. Putting
Go on.
Mbeumo on 200k a week, it's kind of mad, no?
Yeah, that is
Even
mad.
even 150.
Then you
Everyone says.
imagine putting a midfielder who's going to be rotating, who's 32 on 250k. a week.
Oh my god! Oh
Imagine
my
putting
God.
a midfielder who you then use as a striker on
On that
270k a
note,
week.
in a bit.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
In
by
a
the
bit,
way.
Lawless.
Is
Wolf,
it? In a
that
bit.
was
then.
wrong, by the way. That was
What
wrong.
is it then?
That was wrong, by the way.
How
We
much
should-
is Havertz on?
No, we
290.
shouldn't have done that.
Can I
But
just
yo,
make-
did you hear the new conspiracy theory? Berta is the reason why Partey is not re-signing. They have beef from Atletico Madrid days.
Was Berta
Oh,
there in
really?
January while Party was still there?
Berta was the guy who told Partey, "We're going to give you the deal that you want, but your agent's not going to get his bonuses." And he said, "Okay, we're leaving then."
Look, Party's gonna go, and I'm done with the argument about it. He's better than Norgard, so I want Party and
Is he
Zubimendi
better
as
than
opposed to.
Zubimendi? Is he better than
Huh?
Is he better than
Yeah,
Zubimendi?
Party's
Yeah.
better
Yeah,
than
Party is.
Zubimendi.
Yeah,
Party's better than Zubimendi.
I
Partey's
want-
better than
I want
Zubimendi.
Zubimendi and Party, not Zubimendi and Norgard. That's what I wanted.
You know
But
something?
apparently, we're trying to save money again because that's what Arsenal do.
Dan Potts,
Business.
that contract is going to cost us around 26 million pounds for 2 years. Does it make sense for somebody who's going to be potentially playing off the bench majority of those games?
What's that? What's that going to stop us doing?
That's going to stop us from signing another backup defender.
How's that gonna? You'll just put out a new clothesline next week. That'll cover half of that.
I don't think half the Arsenal fans even pay for some of those.
It's not going to stop us getting Gyökeres or Sesko. It's not going to stop us getting a Rodrigo or Eze. It's not going to stop us going and getting a backup defender for like 17 million from Valencia. So why didn't we just do it? It's obviously because Berta has decided that he doesn't want him.
You know what it's going to do, Dan? It's going to mess up our contract negotiations with Saka. It's going to mess up our contract negotiations with the majority of these players in the team.
Oh my god!
Because
Are we
people have-
Everton? Are we Everton or Arsenal?
No. We're Arsenal Football Club, and we have to have a level of understanding of.
Wait, why is he gonna mess it up? Explain,
You
please.
can't have a player on 250k a week when he's not even the main starter.
So Havertz will be on 290 and he won't be your main starter. How would that work?
Havertz is a problem. We have to find a way to solve that issue.
So
It's not just
Party
Havertz who's the
being
problem.
on less than Havertz doesn't change the problem then, does it?
Having Partey at the age of 32, being there and being a option for the next 2 seasons on the same wages maybe makes sense. But then if you immediately make him the second highest paid player at the club, You're going to cause yourself problems with Saliba's contract negotiations, Saka's contract negotiations.
You've already got that problem. You're missing the point. You've already got that problem.
I'm sorry. Anybody who says Arsenal should put Partey on 250k a week just because he's better than Norgard.
All right, go. Ask yourself this.
Is actually missing the point of
why do we put Jesus and Havertz on that much money? Why do we put Zinchenko on 150? Why do we put Martinelli on 180?
Okay, Martinelli scored 15 goals a season and he was 22 at the time. He scoped to grow and he was also getting double his current wages, still not even close to the highest paid player in the club. When it comes to Kai Havertz, that was a mistake putting him on those wages. Jesus, when we signed him at the time, he was the highest earner. He came from Man City where he was already earning similar amount of money, and he came into the team and was immediately good.
What about Zinchenko then? He was on 20k a week and now he's on 150.
Zinchenko was a mistake, but even
how
then,
many of these mistakes? A lot of mistakes we're making here.
Guess what? Because the project keeps improving. We went from trying to challenge for top 4 and spending top 4 money to now trying to win the league and win the Champions League. And we need
Who was our best midfielder last year, Miguel?
Declan Rice. And you try to say I'm lying.
No, it wasn't. It was Thomas Partey.
Who was in team of the season for Premier League, Champions League, and PFA?
Declan Rice scored 2 amazing free kicks against Real Madrid, which is why people remember it. Partey's been much better than him and more consistent.
So why was he Premier League team of the season? Why wasn't
because team of the season? Why is half the people who are in team of the season is a load of rubbish?
You know how I can tell you? You know I can tell you that you're wrong, Dan, because Thomas Partey might be the most consistent throughout the season, but Declan Rice is the match winner. Declan Rice is the guy making the biggest differences in those games. Thomas Partey is just steady Eddie.
How many games did Declan Rice make a difference in?
Declan Rice either scored or assisted in 15 plus games in the league, another 7 in the Champions League. He was integral in the attack and in the defense. Yes, Thomas Partey dictated the play and held down the midfield to a certain degree, but Declan Rice was doing the most.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Instead of trying to save money and trying to talk accounts, who is the better midfield, Partey and Zubimendi or Norgard and Zubimendi? Please explain.
For the next 2 years, Thomas Partey is going to be 33 and 34.
No, answer the question. Who is the best midfield partnership, Partey and Zubimendi or Norgard and Zubimendi?
Clearly Partey and Zubimendi, but Partey...
Right. And we're trying to win the league, but instead we're trying to save money.
Because you have to. You can't just sit there and sit... Because you cannot...
Are you in PSR trouble?
You cannot sit there and give a player 250k a week who's not going to be a guaranteed starter, Dan. That's not logical.
What have we done with Havertz and Jesus then?
Havertz, we have a problem. Jesus is injured. We're not gonna get rid of him anytime soon because he's currently injured.
Do you not agree? Would you not agree that the reason
insurance pays for Jesus' contract in the meanwhile?
Yeah, but Igal, the whole point you're missing is that if Partey was asking for what 250, you're saying?
Yes.
Why was he asking for 250? It would have been because he's seen Havertz on 290. That's the thing. The problem isn't created because of what Partey's asking for. It was created long before him. So whatever player you now have, you were talking about problems with Saliba and his contract renewal. As long as you have that contract with Havertz, it's already a problem. So giving Partey 250 doesn't, or not giving him 250 doesn't negate that problem from what you've got.
If you have a hole in the wall, go punch another hole in the wall. That's what you're telling me to do. It doesn't make sense.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the hole in the wall's already there.
So why punch another hole in the wall?
No, fix the hole in the wall. Get rid of the problem, which is Havertz, if you're so concerned about this problem.
We clearly can't get rid of Havertz at this moment in time. But what we can do
is that hole in the wall is staying there, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many other holes in the wall you put.
Don't punch another hole in the wall by giving Thomas Partey 250. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved to keep Thomas Partey at 200, but that extra 50k that he's asking for is going to cause so much problems in negotiation.
All right, let me ask you this then. Okay, so let's go with your argument that it's about money. Yeah, why did you get someone who's so old? Why couldn't you have gone and got someone a bit younger who's available, Prem experience or something like that? You're Arsenal. You should be able to pull, I don't know, Kamara from Villa or even Tielemans, who you were linked with 2 years ago, have both had excellent seasons. Why not get players that are a bit younger that you could get more time out of, that you would get resale value of if you're so concerned about money, rather than a Norgard who you're going to get nothing for in 3 years or very minimal for? Why wouldn't you have done that? I don't get how overnight.
I think it's very simple because number one, His experience, already played in the Premier League. Last season,
So is Kamara, so is Tielemans.
Last season he played 34 games in the Premier League. The deal is quite cheap. The deal is quite cut price. It allows us to fill a hole when we already have Declan Rice, we already have Zubimendi, we already have Mikel Moreno, we already have Odegaard, and we're potentially going to go and bring in another player. If this deal allows us to then go and solve more problems in the attack and bring in an attacking midfielder going forward, that is where you're going to say, you know what, getting Norgard on a cheap deal, him being one of the cheaper signings of the window, it makes sense if you go.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't to me, bro, because you could play Moreno there.
It doesn't make sense now.
You could play Havertz there.
One second.
For me.
No, you can't. You can't play Havertz as a back.
Hold on. Look, what I would have done if I was in charge of Arsenal, I would have gone and got a youngster who's got potential, who's emerging. That you know that Zubimendi and Rice are going to be your top two, right? You've got a youngster who can come in. You can progress. You can learn under these good players, rather than someone who's just picking up a paycheck, who's going to play a couple of League Cup matches for you, and then you're going to get no resale value on. Go get a 21-year-old. You know,
but Douglas Luiz was free. Douglas Luiz was free.
Yeah,
he would have done.
Yeah. You know something? You guys are asking for, now you're talking about resale value and everything else. This is very
because
simple.
you're the one bringing money into it, bro.
He's 31 years old. We got Jorginho when he was 31 years old. He's a Jorginho replacement. He's not a Thomas Partey replacement. This is not a signing.
Absolute bollocks. When did his link turn up? When did the link turn up with him?
This is a squad filler. It's not even a squad player. It's a squad filler at the end of the squad. He's not somebody who's going to be guaranteed to be playing 30 plus games, or else that would have meant.
Wait, are you saying? Hold on, stop it, guy. Are you saying he's not Thomas Partey's replacement?
No, Zubimendi's Thomas.
Okay,
Partey.
when did the link start with Norgard?
Zubimendi is the Thomas Partey replacement in the starting.
Thomas
11.
Partey was expected to leave Arsenal when you signed Zubimendi, or when talks with Zubimendi 6 months ago.
Thomas Partey was expected to be either rotation off the bench or help embed Zubimendi.
So he was still going to be in the squad.
Yeah.
So he's not a replacement then, is he? Jorginho. If you had said to me, Zubimendi's Jorginho's replacement, I'd say, you know what, that's a good upgrade.
I think
Jorginho's getting on. Huh?
I think that's disingenuous because Zubimendi is going to play much more minutes than Jorginho. And next season,
but he's replacing him, so you've upgraded. Would you not agree? Zubimendi's an upgrade.
Who's the starter next season? Zubimendi, right?
It depends if you had Partey or not.
No, right now, who's the starter next season?
Yeah, Zubimendi, because you got rid of your best one, which was Partey.
Who was a starting midfielder last season? Thomas Partey, right?
Yes.
So hence he's the replacement for Thomas Partey.
When you signed Zubimendi, were you getting rid of Partey?
It was always a possibility we're going to get rid of.
Why are you doing this, bro? I don't even care about Arsenal. Why am I having to defend it when it's clear and obvious?
It was always a possibility, especially when
you can't be that disingenuous about it, bro. You cannot say that Zubimendi was brought in as a Partey replacement when you were trying. Why were you negotiating a contract with Partey then?
Because we thought we could keep him on the same wages.
So he can't be his replacement then.
No, but if the player is not under contract, you're always getting Zubimendi to come in and overtake him in the starting 11. Now,
so who replaced Jorginho? And please don't tell me not Dam's.
Norgard's now the Jorginho replacement. He's the player coming off the bench.
So you replaced Jorginho, who's already played
with Norgard.
Jorginho's already playing.
1 second. Partey's contract was never agreed. It was never written on paper he was 100% going to sign a new deal. The club were always looking at it or partially not looking at him. I remember parts of the season where they're saying Partey's definitely never playing again for Arsenal after that game versus Aston Villa. And then a couple weeks later, he had a couple masterclasses, and they're like, you know what, the club might consider giving him a new deal when Berta came in.
So I don't get it, why you can't just say, you know what, Zubimendi's replaced Jorginho. That's a fantastic upgrade. The club just let me finish. The club have done really well. And now Norgard has replaced Partey. The club has dropped the ball on this one. It's a 50% hit ratio, and it's logically correct, man. Like, just leave it at that. Why have you got to defend every
1 second. It would be disingenuous for me to sit here and tell you that Norgard is better than Partey. But it's also disingenuous for you guys to sit here and tell me that Norgard is the replacement for Partey. He is not the replacement for Partey. The replacement for Partey is Zubimendi. Two players left the club 2 players have come in.
So basically what you're saying, right, is that if I wanted to break up with my missus, what I should do is bring the new woman in first before I get rid of my missus. But I can tell my missus, don't worry, I'm still with you until she signed this new deal with me, and then I'll get rid of you, is what you're saying, man. It literally makes no sense.
I don't condone cheating. We're not talking about that.
Hey man, Muslims, we can have 4. Like, don't try that stuff with me, bro.
Hey, you gotta ask her first. You gotta ask her first. You gotta get conditions.
Look, we gotta come to some form of close, man. Because I
want to stream with him in 4 minutes, man.
Can we acknowledge? We all agree that Norgard is not better than Partey, but can we also all agree that Norgard is not the Thomas Partey replacement? Because that is very disingenuous.
Look, the way I see it is this: we brought in Zubimendi. Partey was the backup. Partey's no longer the backup. Norgard is the backup. Therefore, Norgard has replaced Thomas Partey in this season's team. That's what it is.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works, Dan.
That's the way I see it, bro.
No, the way it works is Thomas Partey was starting last season. Zubimendi's now starting. He's replaced him. Jorginho was on the bench last season. Norgard's now on the bench. So he's been Jorginho's replacement. 2 went out, 2 went in. Simple.
So we've not improved or upgraded then?
I think we've upgraded with what do you call it? Jorginho to Norgard.
Wolfie, do you think Jorginho and Partey is a upgrade? Sorry, Zubimendi and Norgard is an upgrade on Jorginho and Partey or a downgrade?
No, at best I would say it's level, and this is the problem. At best it's level. I think Zubimendi will be better than Partey, but he still hasn't kicked a ball for you. So there's a risk there. Partey has been a safe pair of hands when he's fit, of course. The problem is, even if you just grant it as level, you've already fallen further behind Liverpool. That's the problem.
Our window's not even close to being done. You guys are jumping the gun.
Did I say it was? Am I wrong? Have you fallen further behind Liverpool since the last ball was kicked?
They have. Yeah. Have they kicked the ball?
Did I say that? Have you on what's the date today? 27th of June. Are you further behind Liverpool than you were a month ago?
Yes. Come on, Igal. Just say yes.
You know something? We don't know how they're gonna play. We don't know how they're going to play without Trent.
I love Igal, man. He can't say it. He just cannot say it.
We don't know how they're going to play without Trent. We don't know how they're going to play with Frimpong instead of Trent. We don't know how they're going to play with, Florian Wirtz. Is he going to be the 9? Is he going to be the midfielder? They're going to have, it's an adjustment for Liverpool also. Let's not act like all of a sudden every single signing is just a magical puzzle.
Look, I hope you're right, and they are terrible and they can't gel. And I hope Man City need a season to gel, and they're bad defensively, and Rodri's still crocked. But I'm wishing there. Let me do these super chats because Igal's got a show at 8, which we're going to redirect to. Shaitanya says Kepa, Norgard, Zubimendi, Mosquera, Eze, and Gyökeres is an 8 out of 10 window. 6 players. I can't see Rodrigo, but he's not even getting the Club World Cup games. That would be a fantastic window if it happens. Rodrigo on top of that, fantastic.
Add one more, and that would be a 10 out of 10.
Who? Hato and Rodrigo, and then I'd go with it. It'd be a brilliant window. Stephen says, Xavi Deji, you need to go down to the lane and talk to Frank. I shall let Deji know. He'll still be watching, to be fair. Bang on the money, Wolfie. There we go. He's your friend again now. And then we've got Tim who says, Sack Arteta, Igal in. I would love it. Sack, what's that? Sack. Oh, right. Get Igal in.
There you go. Nothing would change. Nothing would change.
Love that. It'd be the same, man. He'd need a process, and he'd need phases, and he'd need 5 years.
Bring him in as his assistant manager. What you say?
Exactly. Listen, stay tuned, people, because Igal's going live. What you got coming up, bro?
I got Wolfie is actually going to be on there. I got Jay. We're gonna have the Arsenal debate. We're also gonna have to talk. We're also gonna be talking about Chelsea. We got a Chelsea panelist. We found one. Unlike you, it's impossible to find them these days. But I found one, and then we're just gonna pretty much talk about the transfer window. Probably finish off with the Club World Cup. Go for about an hour. A little bit of conversation. But yeah, hopefully everyone can join us. Everyone can have a good time.
Well, look, we got 900 in here, so let's make sure you're showing Igal some love. Make sure you're following Igal Talks Football. Stay tuned. You're going to see both these two over there now, and it will get heated because it always does with these two. Make sure you're following Forest Fan TV. Make sure you're following Match Bingo as well. Top right QR code for the Club World Cup, which should be kicking off now, so get your cards in time for it. All you got to do is credit £5, scan the QR code or hit the link in the description. And you can play. And good luck because there's some winners, and they keep telling me they're winning. And I've got a little league table in my head. And Liverpool are winning. So come on, Gooners, get involved. Listen, Stay tuned. Headed over to a Gal stream. We'll see you next time. We're out of here.
Peace.